What's going on, and welcome into your casual gaming news conversation. I'm one of your hosts, Nick. That's Connor, and this is your weekly gaming news podcast from Club 64. Connor, how are you feeling today?
Doing good. Laura is on the Severance train, and I watched the first episode with her, and I was like, I'll just watch the first episode with you just to kick it off, and then I've just watched the entire first season with her
Oh my gosh.
on a rewatch. Great show to rewatch. You pick up on a lot of the little things that are being revealed that you now have context for if you've watched further into the show. But it's exciting. Did you watch the new episode last night?
I did.
Yeah, good episode.
Really good setup episode for the finale.
I'm very intrigued. Did you see? It is in fact 75 minutes. When you pull it up on Apple TV Plus, it's at 45 below it. And then I was on Twitter last night, and Ben Stiller responded to somebody and said it is 75 minutes because people were panicking. People were like, "There's so much to wrap up.
Yeah,
you can't do that in 45 minutes. 75 minutes. That's enough time."
I feel like this alley-oop into the season finale is similar to the alley-oop of the season one, where it's like there is so much excitement of what can actually happen here. It's gonna be freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, one of the great shows of all time. I really do love it, and rewatching the first season has made me fall in love with it
even though
more.
For the last couple of weeks we've both complained about sort of the pacing of the show and everything. I feel like it still did the necessary work to now get us to a really good spot.
I do think season 2 is a marked downgrade from season 1, but not like in a way that like season 1's like maybe a perfect season of television in a lot of ways. So going down a little bit from there really isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, I concur pretty heavily at this point. I would say I'm probably like a 9.5 for season 1, or maybe even a 9, and then like an 8 for season 2. Yeah. I think it's great still. That last episode before the one last night, though, literally took it from like an 8.5 to an 8. Like I was upset. I was editing during it, like just straight up had it on the background, and as I finished out an edit last night, which by the way, the edit for the bonus exclusive TikTok that's going up tomorrow, really funny. Yeah. Do you know how long it ended up being for a supercut? We shot for
15 minutes.
We shot for 19 minutes, which was the longest shoot we've had on a trivia this entire year. It only ended up being about 9 minutes. I cut out a lot of the thinking because there was a lot of thinking. Shout out. I normally, when we get to the Patreon and the housekeeping, I shout out one piece of content. There is a moment in the exclusive TikToks for this weekend that are so gosh darn funny. And I think that it's going to be funny for the viewer, but if you understood and I explained the joke basically in the room, it was the funniest thing that could possibly happen for Connor and I. We were rolling laughing. It was a shit ton of fun. But yeah, go and check out the exclusive TikToks on Patreon. Actually, I'll just hop into housekeeping now. We launched a Patreon. You can get this show 3 days early. You can get Casual Gaming Conversation 3 days early. And you can get a bonus episode of the Casual Gaming Conversation every single week alongside things like exclusive TikToks, Recollection Retro, Connor's awesome retro collecting show, and the Call Up 64 podcast, which we get to shoot this weekend. And I need to go and remember to get a fan topic for those members over there. Need to post that on Patreon today. Twitch, we are back in the full swing of streaming over on Twitch Monday. Are we going to close out Brady Shock on Monday, or do you think that it's too far?
Two more streams, probably. We have so many turrets to hack. Like, how do you expect us to make any progress? We spent probably... Did you watch us? No, I don't know if you watched.
I watched about an hour and a half of stream.
Yeah, so like we ended up with certain safes that were on like the hard difficulty, like just again. When
you have no health, might as well just keep running.
Oh yeah, it was like we have to do this. Like we're too committed at this point. It's like we're too deep. We have to keep going. So we did that for like hours on end.
That's awesome.
It was fun.
And then what are you playing right now?
I'm playing Sonic 06. It's terrible. It's really quite bad. Here's what I will say. Here's a take for everybody. I played Sonic Adventure. I played Sonic Heroes back in the day. This game runs terribly.
Yeah.
But is it really that bad of a Sonic game outside of that? Not really. It feels exactly like every other Sonic game other than the fact that it runs horribly.
That's really funny.
I think 3D Sonic might just be bad, honestly.
It runs horribly.
Oh, dude, it's like it goes down to like 2 frames a second.
That's really
at
funny.
Multiple points. Like it's awful.
I was trying to watch a little bit while I was just kicking it in the airport, and I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah.
The vibes were great. The audience was apparently all in on it. You had a great chat rolling that night, and I was like, this is not for me. I'm going to go and edit some more videos.
Yeah, I am only going to play the Sonic like playthrough or whatever, and not do Shadow and Silver, because that just sounds like too much Sonic 06 for me. I got to be done after that.
Honestly, you playing Sonic sounds like too much Sonic 06 for most people.
I looked up a guide, and it was like a 10-hour video guide, and I'm 1 hour in after 3 hours of streaming.
Do you think there's a chance it has all 3 playthroughs in it?
It definitely has all 3 playthroughs, but still, I'm just saying I'm pacing way far behind where I'm supposed to be after 3 hours of playing. So like if I were to do the regular playthrough of this 10-hour playthrough, I'd probably end up doing it for like 25 hours or something like that, which I'm not going to do.
Connor,
25
what is
hours
that?
of Sonic 06.
That's 2 months of streaming?
Yeah,
you don't want to stream Sonic 06 for 2 months?
I want to play a good video game, please.
Speaking of good video games, I'm playing Mario Galaxy on the Tuesday and Thursday streams. Started that one up last night. It's really good.
Yeah.
I do need to go and retract a statement, though, that I believe I had on this show. I said that I never gave a Mario game above a 9. Mario 64 is a 10 out of 10 game for me. That was a mistake. Yeah. I literally thought of that. I was like, oh, damn. I just completely forgot about Mario 64. But my curiosity still remains. Is it going to be better than Odyssey? As of right now, probably not. Odyssey's so fucking good, dude. That game's 9 out of 10.
Odyssey's great. Yeah.
Moving on to the Discord, we have a Discord page linked down below. Go and join up with the awesome community that we have over there. And then merch. We have merch over at co-op64store.com. Connor, boom.
Shirts,
mugs, hoodies, all that good stuff. You're going to go and pick that up over at co-op64store.com. Review us over on Apple Podcasts. It gets the show out to more people. And we also have this thing called the comment section, where down below on the YouTube or on Spotify, I do check the Spotify comments every now and then too, to make sure that there's nothing that we got wrong. I didn't have any major ones that came out from last week. Nope. But thank you everyone for talking about this show and commenting so much on the last episode, discussing what they wanted with The Last of Us, their theories. That was awesome to go and see. I assume that we will get more comments on this episode about these Xbox stories, which also let's have that moment. This show, somebody talked about in a comment one time, it being a PlayStation show. I feel like the headline is always Xbox, and here we are again, Connor. More and more Xbox.
It's nonstop Xbox news, and PlayStation's just quiet relative to everybody else in the industry at this point. That, like, of course we're going to be talking about Nintendo with their new console coming out, and Xbox, who is just floundering at this moment, seemingly making decisions on a day-to-day basis, that we would be talking about them quite a bit.
They're capturing headlines left and right.
And I don't feel like they're good headlines, but we'll see.
Headline number 1, the first portable Xbox could reportedly hit shelves this year. This is Andy Robinson over at VGC. Quote, the first Xbox portable could launch later this year as part of Microsoft's initiative to unify Windows and Xbox's gaming offerings. That's according to The Verge, which claims that Microsoft is working on a handheld with manufacturer Asus called Project Kennan, which aims to offer a, quote, universal library of Xbox and PC games, end quote. Asus's Xbox branded handheld could debut later this year, it's claimed, but because any such launch is reliant on Microsoft's platform work, timelines could change. The platform work is reportedly codenamed Project Bayside and aims to deliver a common Xbox UI across multiple devices to help combine Windows and Xbox, end quote. Connor, are we going to get a Xbox handheld this year?
I think we are, technically, but it's not what people are seemingly asking for, or based off of what I would want out of an Xbox handheld. I want like a dedicated Xbox branded, made by Microsoft handheld, like something like the Steam Deck for Steam, you know what I mean? But for Xbox and their platform. This seems like a half measure in a lot of ways, and I don't know if that's what people are looking for. I don't know if that's what I'm looking for. And also, I think on first blush, it sounds disappointing, but at the same time, it's like, well, Microsoft and Xbox, they already have an app on PC that kind of integrates achievements and everything and kind of has a more unified experience. And isn't that what you're already getting over on that platform? Just moving it over to a portable, I feel like does make sense that it would be just like a third-party manufacturer. But is that something that people want necessarily? Like, I don't I don't know. If PlayStation was doing this, I don't know if that's what I would be looking for. But I also don't think PlayStation has the infrastructure to do something like this, like Xbox does with their app on PC and their integration to Windows, because obviously they're
Microsoft.
They're Microsoft. So like it's going to look different if PlayStation does it, I would imagine. But if they do this, I would imagine this is the end all for them, that they're not going to like go back to the drawing board and be like, no, we're going to make the full on Xbox handheld.
I think 2027 or something.
I think it will always be partnerships with a PC manufacturer of some kind, or like a hardware manufacturer rather, like Asus, and just slap the Xbox branding on it and say, hey, you can play Xbox games on it. And I have heard some swirlings that like all Xbox games aren't going to work on this. Like it's not universal. It has to work on Windows already, which I think most
that's
games,
a majority, a large majority of the
right.
games,
I saw this at a glance. I didn't read too much into it, but like if you can get a seamless experience of something that kind of looks like an Xbox, which they're talking about with the UI there, I think that's going to be appealing to people. But is it really that much more appealing than a Steam Deck, than the ROG Ally for people just because it has the Xbox branding? I don't know. I'm curious to see how people receive this.
I'm going to start by saying I think that this is by far the correct move. This is something I asked when we were discussing the future of Xbox. I was like, partner up with someone and get something out now. You need to get something. You cannot be second in this race against PlayStation to get an actual handheld out. You can't do it. You will lose if you were second. But them getting out seemingly this year, let's just even call it in the next 12 months, even if it is next spring or something, I think that's a huge win to be first to the punch. Is this for me? Yeah, like we're not in the Steam Deck market yet. So we haven't had a handheld that we're like, okay, this is going to be the thing that we travel with all the time. This is the thing that we're playing in bed. Like hasn't been that need for us yet. And this might be the first foray for us to hop in, I guess. But like, it's not necessary for us, I would say. Yeah. Like this isn't something that I'm like day one of purchasing, which with a lot of consoles and tech, we are day one purchase people. Like that's just what we do. But this might not be that. I still think that this is the right move though, because they need to go and one, have a win. Two, I think that this is the start. The whole goal for Xbox's Play Everywhere is to basically get Steam and Xbox on the same system together and have Microsoft make money from it. That's the way I see it at this point, is like, is there a way that we can do both those things? And I think that this is a good first step to do exactly that. And if that works out for them, that's a big win. That's a big win for their market. That's a big win for hopefully players just across the board. And then my question is, if you do have Windows and or like Microsoft Game Pass and Steam on the same device, does PlayStation start pulling their games from Steam? Because they don't want to go and have their exclusives over on an Xbox console.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like this is that's like saying that they would pull their games from Steam because the Xbox app is on PC. Like technically, they're with Xbox's branding, everything is an Xbox, so they're already kind of like trying to.
I'm just saying
play it that way. You know what I mean?
I understand. I also think that
you can play Xbox games on the Steam Deck right now.
I understand, but you can't. Can you play? Yeah, I guess that's right. That makes sense. I do want to take this to a different area. I think the Switch 2 of all this is very interesting. To go and have a Xbox launched, it's got the branding on it at least, handheld in the same year as the Switch 2. What do you think that does for Switch 2's numbers? What do you think it does for Xbox numbers? We're trying to release this thing. Does it do anything? Was it a thought that you had when this story rolled out?
No, I think Nintendo could give two shits about what is going on in the handheld market. The Steam, like, as I understand, the Steam Deck isn't this like rousing success. Like, it's not selling tens of millions of copies.
Let me try to get a number up real quick.
I think I read recently like 5 million.
Like, Steam Decks sold, I'm gonna guess around 4 million as of 2025.
Yeah. See, that's like, is that what you expected?
No,
I thought it was exceedingly popular.
I thought it was gonna be like
20 million.
10. I thought 10 million, but like half of what I initially thought is still wild.
What's it been out for like 3 years now or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, about over 3 years.
Yeah, it's like I thought we were talking 20 million. Like that sounds right to me. That's 4 million is nothing.
Which does
like
prove
this market isn't like this mass market thing. You know what is a mass market thing? Switch 2.
Yeah. I was about to say, this kind of proves that, like, we talk about, like, the necessary handheld market that exists, but once again, we're talking about gamers as a whole. Our, like, gaming palette is a niche palette in the first place, where we are the people that play everything. We are the people that take a Switch with us when we're traveling. We are the people that have a console or 2 or 3 in our home setup. Most people don't do that. And so when you're talking about Switches, though, everyone and their mom's got a Switch. Like, every console or home setup feels like it's got a Switch in it nowadays. And I expect the same for the Switch 2 when that releases. Yeah. The Steam Deck, you're right. I apparently it is 2 different leagues even that they're playing in. One's playing in the mass market and one's playing in a very niche market. And that, I guess you're right then. They definitely do not give two shits.
It begs the question, like, is this going to save Xbox? No. It needs to be a vertical of your current system. Like, Valve has Steam, and that's where they make their money. This is like a pet project for them that we're like, we can make a little bit of cash on the side and kind of have this innovation here of a portable PC that you can play on the go. And Xbox is now trying to be like, oh, well, there's some money here. Let's see if we can't get another foothold in another area, but it's not going to bolster or save their current floundering console. It's another area for them to explore, but I don't think it's going to move the needle on the Xbox brand, and it's certainly not going to move the needle on the sales of Switch 2, in my opinion.
If I was Xbox at this point, I would do whatever it takes to... The number one goal at this point is get on the same system as Steam in a console. Like, find a way, whether that's a console, there's been rumors of a TV. Like,
why?
Anyway, because people will actually go and I don't think that there's enough sauce with just an Xbox console nowadays. I don't think that the library, with it not being exclusives, makes sense. Like, they don't have exclusives. So how do you sell it? Hey, you have your entire Steam library. You have your entire Microsoft library, which Phil Spencer's been very clear about. Like, hey, we want to make sure we are preserving games that you've already purchased and everything, and you're able to play those games.
Yeah.
I think that is their future that they're starting to look forward to. Those 2 things plus cloud gaming, which was a huge thing that they really want to go into. It's not for us necessarily, but that is something that they're like, we really want to get after. I think is a future that makes sense. But once again, it's not necessarily for me, but I think that that's the direction that they should be going in.
Yeah, it's frustrating because I do think that they have the games to make a portfolio that is compelling for somebody to want to buy an Xbox. Because the issue is that they don't have any exclusives. They've just given up on that, and that's because of the Activision Blizzard deal.
They need to make that money back.
It sucks. Like, I more and more as more time has gone past, I've looked at that deal as like possibly the worst deal in gaming. Not just because it's like, it's not about the content that Activision and Blizzard and King make. It's about the position that Xbox has been put in by that deal.
Yeah.
It has killed the Xbox brand, unfortunately, because the brand was trying to be these awesome exclusive games, and now they're like, we can't do that because we need to make money right now. And right when the dominoes were about to fall, like, all these games are coming out. It's like, damn, dude, it sucks. But I wish the best for Xbox fans and the Xbox brand. I hope this hardware ends up doing well and it's what people want. I hope it's great.
How much?
I don't think it's going to be. I don't. How much is this? It seems like it's like $500.
$500.
Yeah, I would imagine
give or take
in that ballpark, probably.
Yeah, I think that if you put this out for more than $500, you're kind of setting it out to die in this market because it's already a niche market.
Yeah,
but maybe normally when we do talk niche, I think of something like the PS5 Pro that's more expensive, and you can get the people in a little bit more because they're so excited about the product.
And about PlayStation.
Yeah, but that's for PlayStation. Maybe the handheld market. My question is, like, somebody get in the comments, do you own more than a Steam Deck plus an ROG Ally?
There's got to be some like hardcore people who are into that, who have that. But when it comes to the Xbox handheld, I'm curious, like, who exactly is this for? Because you can play a lot of these games already on a Steam Deck. And if you're into the handheld market, you probably have already gotten a Steam Deck.
The question is, if you can play them on Steam and also have your Game Pass subscription there, that's the power of this, in my opinion. Having those 2 things and having it be the Play Anywhere tagline that they've been going after for about 6 months now, I guess that I am the person for this. Because I am somebody that would love to go and play Forza Horizon 5 on the go all the time.
Can you not play Forza Horizon 5
I think that you
all?
have to go in. There's a way
You
to
have to
go
through
in
Steam, or
I don't think you go through Steam. I think you have to go through desktop mode to launch the Xbox app, and
Yeah.
you can do it. It's a hassle. I'm talking about the thing that is the most important part of my gaming experience, which is frictionless. It just needs to work. That if it just works and I'm able to play Hi-Fi Rush and Forza and Oblivion Remake when that comes out, because that's going to be the next story, like all those things, and we're just on the go able to do that, that's great.
right.
The hard part is also for the handheld market. I think that the thing that gets brought up more than anything else is those households with multiple people in it, whether it's partners or kids or families or whatever, and not having the TV available so you play on your handheld. For me, that doesn't exist. So that I don't have a in-home use case for it, and that's why I don't have a Steam Deck either.
Yeah.
But like, I do like the idea of being on the go and having those opportunities whenever I get the chance to travel. Or, I mean, like we're taking a trip later this year. It's like that would be nice to have for a week, having that portable handheld and stuff like that.
Just get a Vita.
Yeah, just get a Vita in 2025.
That's the thing. When I say like, who is the Xbox handheld for me, in my head, it's like it's for the people who are really ingrained in the Xbox ecosystem that love achievements and like have this library there. It's less about Game Pass. I mean, Game Pass is a great additive, but it's for the hardcore Xbox fan. That's what I would say for a PlayStation handheld as well. It's like you can play a lot of PlayStation games on Steam Deck. Like, so why get a PlayStation one? It's like, well, I like my trophies. Like, I like being in that ecosystem. That's where I like to play my games, and I want that whole like unified experience of PS5 and a portable to like kind of work together in tandem. And that's what, if you have an Xbox and then you buy this Xbox branded handheld, then you have that unified experience. That's who I think this is for personally.
Yeah. But for me, it still is. I want to be very clear. I don't think that this product is necessarily for me, but a couple months ago on the bonus casual gaming conversation, when we were talking about the future of Xbox and where they're going to go, I was like, just find any way to get a handheld out in the next 12 months. I was like, most likely it's going to be 18 months, I would assume. But like, I think that it's going to be showcase season, and they're going to talk about this. And it's going to release this Christmas at this point. Yeah. And that is a important win,
It's going to be all about messaging. Like, if you can really harp home that this is a Xbox thing, you know what I mean? Rather than just a Asus thing with an Xbox sticker thrown on it, then that's going to be essential.
Yeah. Do you think that it has like Xbox controller layout and everything, or do you think that it looks more like a Steam Deck?
I think it'll have the like Xbox buttons or whatever, like the
the X, Y, A, B, and the sticks will feel like Xbox sticks, but not like
maybe. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just curious about that. Story number 2: Bethesda's Oblivion Unreal Engine 5 remake could be releasing sooner than you think. This is Andy Robson at BGC. Quote: the Oblivion remake was first mentioned by an alleged developer back in 2023 before being named in a leaked court document the same year. Now, according to noted insider Nate the Hate, the Oblivion remake is set for reveal in the coming weeks, a claim VGC has corroborated with our own sources. Nate claims that the game will likely release before June, while sources have told VGC it could arrive as soon as next month. A bit further on into the article, quote, the Oblivion remake is reportedly, quote, fully remade, end quote, with Unreal Engine 5 with 6 reworked gameplay systems: stamina, sneaking, blocking, archery, hit reaction, and HUD. The improvements to the game's blocking system have been reportedly inspired by Souls-like games, while sneaking icons are now highlighted in the new systems, according to MP First, end quote. Connor, Bethesda's Oblivion, we've been talking about this since January, when these rumors all started. It seems to be really soon. My first question to you is, how is this reveal going to go? Is it going to be an Xbox thing? Is it going to be on their own terms? Hey, we have some sort of anniversary of coming. How do you think that this is all going to work for Oblivion?
We have no confirmed platforms that it's on.
Yep.
Okay. Or like speculated platforms. Yeah. We have nothing confirmed about this. Everything is rumored. I think it's crazy that it's as soon as it is. If it comes out in May or June, that would be awesome. I think that if we do see it, we could see it at a developer direct or whatever it is.
Yeah.
No, sorry, not a developer direct. What is
partner showcase?
Partner showcase. Yeah, I think that's possible. You close it out like that's your FBC Firebreak moment for one of these things. I think there's a chance of that, and I do think there's a chance that they just kind of tweet this out, and they're just like, hey, this is happening.
I think that there's a good chance at this point.
But do you think it's a shadow drop that day, or no shot, right? You need to have some sort of hype around it.
Nate the Hate, not in this article, I do believe said that it could be a shadow drop. There's a chance that it shadow
If it's a shadow drop, it needs to be in something.
It needs to be hype. Yeah, you need to bring the fucking hype.
You can't just. You got to use the bullets you got here. You know what I mean? They don't have a lot. All the time, like this is a win.
Well, we talk about,
you know what I mean?
Like I bring up on PlayStation's end, they have 3 to 4 marketing beats a year, and if you don't nail those marketing beats, that's really bad for your company. Like those are moments that you need to nail. We'll talk about it with the Death Stranding trailer in a moment here on it, what could have been with that PlayStation state of play earlier in the year. But this is a marketing beat. This is a large marketing beat when you look at what this year is for Xbox. My question is, if it is coming out in June, if it is coming out later this year, why do you think that this has been held off for as long as it has? Because I think that there's one clear answer, and it's Avowed. You didn't want to talk about this when Avowed was being marketed.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And so that sort of makes sense. But like also, we're in a spot now where it's like, let's just say it drops middle of April. You have Expedition 33 that's on Game Pass and South of Midnight. You're just going to like do it then?
You think it could come out in the middle of April or be announced?
I think it could come out in the middle of April.
No chance, right? Like that's so soon.
There's some sort of Elder Scrolls like anniversary thing that's happening right now, and I need to go and figure out the exact dates of all that, but like I could see it just drop and be this fucking huge moment. I do think Partner Showcase would be the best place for it.
It makes the most sense.
Where like that would be such a killer headline. I do think that that's the level of announcement to close out. Like you said, this isn't like...
It's like the biggest announcement from a Partner Showcase ever.
Yeah, it would be. For sure. Actually, I'm going to throw this one in there. Partner Showcase, the first one, we were all like, this is going to be a big nothing burger. And it was the first time we saw Delta gameplay. And I was like, that was very unexpected because we didn't expect that game to be out for 2 years. And guess what? It wasn't out for 2 years. So that was pretty cool. And then FPC Firebreak's another big one. And I mean, like Subnautica 2 for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, but Oblivion is on another level, even than all those.
Yes. The reason I
like it's like one of the most beloved games of all time, Nick.
I know, but like
people say it's, every single time you bring up Skyrim, there's somebody who's like, Oblivion's the best one. Oblivion's so much better. I'm
nervous that this is a Half-Life 2 situation. And even less so.
What do you mean?
Where there's a lot of very loud people about it, but there's not a shit ton of people that are like actually going to hop into this.
Sometimes you need a very loud vocal minority to just kind of like
I mean that's the reason it exists.
This game, you know what I mean? It will push excitement about it, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like where they're super stoked on it and then they get everybody else stoked on it, and a lot of people weren't there when this game was out or like playing games. They grew up and then Oblivion had already come out or whatever.
Yeah.
Skyrim was their first one, like many of us. So now they want to go back to Oblivion but don't want to play an old ass game or whatever,
totally.
Old ass in quotes, that they're happy about this. So I think there's a market for this for sure.
Oh yeah, and I think that there's a lot of people coming off of Avowed that are like, I want more of this, but even like maybe just a little bit different, and that's Oblivion or to a T, I would say, where it's not Avowed level of like it's not as interactive or whatever, but it is still a fantasy RPG, super in depth, a lot of systems.
I mean, I'm stoked that they changed the gameplay. That's my big issue with Skyrim. I think that those changed elements that they're talking about, we'll see to what extent, and what do they mean by it's inspired by Souls games. Souls games, when I think Souls games, I think dodging. I don't think blocking.
I think parrying is going to be a big part of it.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
If that's the case, if you're able to like give me a good parry that like really feels good and will feel good for the entire play length, that could be game changing to a experience.
It makes it so much more engaging. When I played Avowed, I was parrying people left and right, and like dodging and parrying like was a big part of me just really enjoying that game.
Yeah, I think that Avowed, the way that the weapons feel and the amount of crunch that there is for blocks and parries, feels unfucking believable. So if they're able to capture some of that magic, I think that this is going to rock. My final question about this is, are you going to play it?
I might pick it up and try it. I imagine Oblivion is a pretty robust RPG that there's too many games right now. Talking about the release schedule coming up, AC Shadows, and then it's South of Midnight, then it's Expedition 33, then it's Doom the Dark Ages, then it's
Lost Soul Side
and Elden Ring, and then it's Death Stranding. Like, it's like, when the fuck am I want to do a Death Stranding one where you play.
I have to play it now. I'm really working my schedule to be like, when the fuck is that gonna happen?
I want to like do like just a random weekend just marathon or something.
Well, I thought about putting that on our schedule, and then I'm like, well, I already scheduled KH in one weekend, like in a couple weeks after a subathon. It's like I can't. Last year I put the body on the line a little too often. Like
it felt like we were doing stuff every weekend.
It was every weekend
the first half of the year. And this year, it seems like we're doing a lot of stuff, but for some reason, it's like not adding up to the same amount. You know what I mean?
So I think a big part of that was we did the subathon so early. It was like I think I mean I can pull up our schedule from last year. Literally, we had stuff happening every single weekend, and then things like the hot tub stream, things like Battlefront Front 2 special stream, things like Subspace Emissary.
Yeah,
and
small stuff that we could just like kind of like do quick one off. But now we're just doing a bunch of long things.
And then this was the real kick in the teeth for me. You and Brady finished up like a large amount of we grinded for the first 3 months. Then there's this thing in April called Twilight Princess for 3 straight weekends that just I did nothing except get off work, start streaming, and then my weekend would go away. Like, because then on Sundays we're shooting content all day. And then there's things like Brady Plays Stray, round 100. Yeah, we did a lot of bonus content.
I mean, Brady Plays Stray, that's a whole 7 hours, 6 hours. Subspace ended up being 8 hours. The short game stream, that was 12 hours. Like, oh man.
And then it lined up a little bit. But yeah, I do think, though, that it's really funny. Last year, I think a large part of the reasons we were able to do a lot of the streams were we didn't have all the time major releases that both you and I wanted to play for review. Where this year, I feel like every single one of the games you just mentioned are like, I guess we're both reviewing a rock and roll. Let's do it.
It's a good problem to have. But man, it's a lot.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of games. Like I can't believe there's anybody out there who's like, I have nothing to play. It's like, what do you mean you have nothing to play? There's so many games.
And we didn't even mention the Switch 2 of it all. Where it's just like, June? We're still in June? Yeah, or early June, late May.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be June also.
We're like 20 days out from the State of Play? State of Play.
Gosh.
The Nintendo Direct.
Less than 20 days away. Can you, like, I know that every single time during the show, at least one point, it just happens. Because we just get excited. It's a Friday. It's the freaking weekend. And we just go and we're like, I can't fucking wait for this, dude. I cannot wait. It's going to be, I'm so excited. I was talking to chat last night about it. And I was like, I'm trying to finish Mario Galaxy before that State of Play, because I think that could be really cool to like
Nintendo
the night
Direct.
before.
I said State of Play, and then
gosh darn it, you incepted my brain. I was like, but that's 4 streams for Mario Galaxy, and it's about a 15-hour game. And I'm like, maybe, and then I was like, an hour in the stream, I'm like, oh, that's not happening. I'll play guitar, I guess. Like, where you got to move on. Mario Galaxy, really good. Not, I don't think it's gonna be an all-timer for me though.
Okay.
Not the 4th greatest game of all time. On Metacritic.
Do you think that Mario and Zelda get a bump in reviews just for being Mario and Zelda?
No,
I do.
I
think subconsciously, like, we just look at those games with such nostalgia and such fondness and I do think that they are deserving of good scores, but I do think they get like a default 5-point bonus. You know what I mean?
0.5 bonus, you mean?
5 point.
Oh, so you're talking, you think that Mario would be a 5 out of 10 and we give it 10 out of 10?
No, sorry, on Metacritic.
Oh, okay, 5 point. That
so 0.5 technically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think with Zelda, especially, I'm very honest about my Zelda scores and everything. Like, I'm not just going to give Zelda's.
I don't think people are doing it on purpose, is what I'm saying. I think it's subconscious. Like, I think we just have these magical feelings when we play these games that, like, and you're pulling in memories from your childhood.
But
I
don't have Zelda memories, is my thing.
Yeah.
And, like, Wind Waker is, like, a 9 out of 10 game for me.
But you also hear other people talking about it, and like going into Breath of the Wild, that was my first Zelda game. I played Ocarina or tried Ocarina, and I didn't like it on the 3DS, and then I go and play Breath of the Wild, and it's like people have talked about Zelda my entire life as this like mythical, magical video game experience, and then you pick up Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild is fucking amazing. I think it's excellent. But like in the back of your head, you're like, I want to be a part of this. I want to love this thing. I know that it's considered so great and so good, and then you play it, and you kind of get swept up in the excitement. And I think that could subconsciously affect how you view something.
I I go into every game wanting to like it. We talk about that all the time. I don't give a rip about Zelda. Like if I thought that a Zelda game was like a 6 out, I would just be like, well, obviously, but like I believe that Zeldas can be 6s out of 10s or stuff like that.
100%.
We're like, so I don't go in and I'm like, this has to be goated because I've heard it's goated. For me, it's just like, if it's goated, rock and roll. But like like Twilight Princess, like I'm around an 8.5, 8. I give it an 8.5. I'll stick with an 8.5. I think it's a great game. But like I'm not like people got upset with me. I'm like, but that's just my fucking opinion. Like,
I just gave A Link Between Worlds a 7 out of 10, and people are not happy about that. My bad.
Story number 3. Hideo Kojima's latest Death Stranding 2 trailer is here with a confirmed June release date. This is Andy Robinson at BGC. Quote, the trailer, which is embedded above, was premiered during a panel at South by Southwest 2025 Festival in Austin, Texas on Sunday. During the panel, Kojima Productions also announced digital deluxe $80 and collector's edition versions of the PS5 sequel, which will include early access to the game on June 24th. The collector's edition, which will cost $230, will include a 15-inch statue, Dollman figurine, art cards, and letter from Kojima, as well as various in-game rewards. Kojima Productions also announced it'll be launching a music tour featuring music from both Death Stranding games, which will be touring worldwide starting in November. End quote. Connor, we saw the trailer. You haven't seen all the trailer.
I've seen a lot of it. I've seen the stuff that I want to see.
Connor, is this the greatest video game trailer of all time?
Let me just say, cancel GTA 6. This is the only game that fucking matters for the rest of 2025. For the rest of the century. Cancel all video games for the rest of the fucking century, dude. Death Stranding 2 is here. Kojima is here. That is one of the best trailers I've ever seen. This is next-gen video games, baby. That is one of the best looking games I've ever seen. Like, the Decima engine, dude. Why is that not Unreal? You know what I mean? Like, come on. This engine is fucking trucking along, making some of the best looking games on the fucking planet between this and Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah,
this game looks gorgeous. I skipped all the cutscene moments. I didn't want to hear anybody talking. I just wanted vibes. You know what I mean? And that's what Death Stranding is all about. It's all about the vibes. It's about coming over a hill with the music starting to play and the fog rolling over the hills and you making your way down to the next port or whatever. It's so good. And from what I loved about Death Stranding 1, it seems like we are getting that. I know that Nick and I have gone back and forth on how much action is going to be in this game. Are they going to have a heavier focus on shooting? I do think that if Death Stranding 1 was 85% walking,
yep,
15% shooting, stealth, set piece moments, I think this will be 75% walking, 25% shooting, stealth, set piece moments.
There was a few lines in the trailer which I'm trying to avoid discussing with you because I respect you and you do not want this game spoiled remotely, and that's part of the reason that you skipped over some of the more story-driven narrative moments. Mm-hmm. I think that there's two different things I want to bring up. One, it seems like just through some of the set pieces that, like, I'm not talking about the moments that they are shooting or whatever.
Those are in Death Stranding 1.
Yeah, I do. I know that. I think that some of it is more automated, and I am curious to see like the package delivery system of Death Stranding 1. Once again, I haven't played it. I'm gonna play it because,
dude, this game rules. Yeah, you'll like it. I really do. I do believe that you will like Death Stranding.
I think that there's a good chance that the way I do this is Death Stranding starts for me Friday night. I stream it for literally all weekend. Not like I'm gonna schedule sleep, I'm gonna schedule time off. I'll probably take a Saturday night off or stuff like that to do something fun. But like I think I'll probably put like 20 hours into it, and then I'll stream for 2 weeks the ending of it and go and do it that way. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to play this game now. I was not the first trailer for Death Stranding 2. I was like, maybe I gotta play Death Stranding. This trailer is Pantheon level of like greatest trailers ever.
Yeah,
like this is one of it. It's 4 trailers in one. Let's start there.
It's 10 minutes long. 10 minutes, 30 seconds or something like that.
I like that a teaser trailer for Kojima is like 5 minutes.
I love that he cuts him himself too. I think that's so cool.
I think credit where credit's due. Hell of an editor.
Yeah.
Like I as somebody that does editing for our channel, I couldn't do that. Like that's fucking awesome.
And my biggest problem with Death Stranding 1 is I felt like there was kind of a lack of different biomes. You have 3 really distinct biomes, if my memory is correct. I won't list them or anything, but this one, based off of what they showed in the trailer, it's like, fuck, man, like you're going all over the place. That shot with the moon in the first trailer, in the background, and then the shot in this one with the moon.
For me, the shot is peak of the mountains.
Oh, so cool too.
Like we're looking over the clouds.
The water coming in to like the wetlands or whatever, or like so much about it like just looks awesome. I just want to be in this world, be in this space, exploring, making my deliveries, just kind of throwing the headphones on and locking in, putting my phone in the other room, and experiencing this game and seeing the wacky world that Kojima has to offer. I think that I did see like the headbands.
I was about to say, we got to talk about the snake of it all. Let's dial back to Gamescom 21, where they did the director's cut trailer that closed out that showcase. If I got that right, by the way, someone in the comments let me know, because that's a hell of a poll. With that trailer, there was the cheeky little Norman Reedus in a box moment. Yeah. And it was like, oh, like, yeah, we got that. This is
Kojima just pushing it, just like poking the bear. Like, what about this one? Is this okay?
Like, at a certain point, is somebody putting a bandana on their head like copyright infringement? I don't know.
Why would it
Probably
be?
not.
I don't know.
But like, one, I find it funny. Two, it does make me want to ask: are we only playing as Norman Reedus in this game?
Yeah, I think so.
I would say odds on yes, that is probably the case. I would say, I think I'm at like a 25% chance that that's not the case, though.
That'd be cool.
I think.
Also, we see old Sam in the first trailer for this, or one of the first trailers.
Yeah, the Game Awards 22 trailer.
Why is he not old? There's got to be something there.
I think that there's some things with the other thing with Death Stranding is like I like to have my own headcanon because I don't know what the fuck's happening. So I'm like, the goop that's on everyone, it's got to do something with that. I don't know if that's the case or how that all works, but that's what I'm going with.
So this isn't a spoiler. Like, this is just universe stuff. Timefall, like the rain speeds up time. So like
maybe you got
that's why they have
the
fucking awesome hoodies or rain jackets or whatever. Like, those things are sick, dude. I want one of those so badly.
I know what I'm getting Connor for Christmas.
They're expensive. They're really cool.
Yeah, I know that. There's a world where some of this trailer stuff, that's also why I don't care about like watching the trailers. I feel like a lot of this is like super cut in a way that like, it might be referenced to when I'm actually playing the game or whatever, but like, I don't know. I do think that the person that put the bandana on, seeing some of their acting chops and just like being re-immersed into what Kojima does so well, which is storytelling. Like, and you've discussed some of the performances in Death Stranding 1 being like some of the best ever. I'm so excited to just experience these performances.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're bolstering the cast too. Like, new faces, Elle Fanning, love Elle Fanning.
Can we just talk about did you see when they were running through the cast list?
Yeah.
And it's like
George Miller.
It's like All-Star, Elle Fanning, and then it's like Doll Man, and then it goes back to like a normal person.
Yeah,
like,
it's like, one of them was like a robot without like the voice actor in it. It's like, well, there's got to be something there, right?
Nobody gets away with that unless your name is Kojima. Yeah. Like, you are able to do whatever you want.
Is he hiding something there? He must be, right?
It might be like a big time celebrity cameo. It might be Kojima himself.
It's Timothée Chalamet.
What if?
Timothée Chalamet might be in this game.
Oh, I would say 40% chance I think that he's in this thing at this point. Yeah, I wouldn't like count on it.
Bring back Conan, please.
But yeah, I'm stoked. I firmly believe that this is going to be looked upon very fondly in about 5 to 10 years as greatest trailer ever.
Yeah,
like I think that. Sure.
I mean,
it's hard because
people don't like
trailers.
People don't like Death Stranding though, so they're not going to look at this trailer. It's about like eliciting this emotion from the fans, but also from people who aren't necessarily in. It's about selling them on that, and I don't think this trailer necessarily got people to be like, "Oh, I'm all in on the walking simulator now."
I think that there are some people that are all in because I'm one of them. Mm-hmm. But I want to go and toss this one to you. Where does this land on Metacritic now?
See, that's the problem. Is like I really don't know because of how Death Stranding 1 was originally received, and then how the director's cut was received, and people kind of wrapping their head around even what Death Stranding is and what it's trying to achieve, and starting to appreciate it more and more. And then also with the additions in the director's cut, making the game even better. Apparently, I've not played the director's cut. So with Death Stranding 2, you would hope that trajectory just keeps going upwards. And if they iron out some of the kinks, the gunplay in Death Stranding 1 is not very good.
Yeah.
But that's not the focus of the game, in my opinion. So if they iron that out, add these new features, it's telling a really great story. I think that at its peak, 92. At its peak. Excuse me. I would not predict that, though.
What's your prediction?
85, probably. 86.
My prediction is a 92.
Yeah.
I think that it does it. I think that everybody now completely, if you are reviewing this game for a major outlet, you are a Death Stranding fan.
Yeah.
That is my starting baseline of all this. I think that there is a really good chance if we don't get a 3D Mario this year. And I would say that there's a good chance that we don't get a 3D Mario this year.
Good chance.
Let me rein it back in. I do think that if the first year is Mario Kart on launch day, Metroid Prime 4, and then Arceus to close out the year, I think that there's a chance that they just...
I mean, Legends, Z-Day.
Oh, Z-Day, thank you. I think there's a chance that they just push it. I think that there's a world.
I would say 95% chance there is a 3D Mario coming out this year.
I hope so. It's on my fantasy critic team. If it wasn't coming out this year, I would say, because I'm also on the boat that GTA is probably not coming out this year. I think there's a chance, but in the other part with GTA, I'm like, there's a good chance that they want to release it like November 24th, but they want to make the game of the year like discussion and everything, so they might have to push it. It's weird. Anyways.
If they release it and miss Game of the Year for this year and have to go next year, that kind of sucks.
And it would probably win.
It sucks for everybody next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because everyone would just be like, well, we're not winning.
Yeah.
But
that cooks Intergalactic if it comes out the next year, for sure.
No, for Goaty?
Over GTA? For GTA versus Galactic. Intergalactic.
My question is, if Red Dead 2 comes out the same... I mean, Red Dead 2 came out the same year that God of War came out and lost. That's my example.
I think most people agree that that's blasphemous at this point.
I think that's... Well, here's the thing. Most people, it doesn't fucking matter. It's the industry that votes on it. And so that's why I would say, once like... artsy-fartsy games. The industry loves their artsy-fartsy games.
That's true.
We're kind of part of games media, and we love the art. Like, we just talked about Death Stranding 2 having one of the greatest trailers ever, and most people are like, who the hell is Norman Reedus and this child? Like, what's happening?
So June 26th.
That's the other part of this that is just fucking awesome. You want to know why, Connor? If this was in July, I think you would have a very tough time leaving the country and not being able to play this game.
Goodness, please.
I thought about
game developers. Just I go on one vacation every like 3 years. Just do not release anything during the week of July that I'm gone. Yeah. Please.
Yeah, I thought often about it.
I just want to be able to lock in and focus on my Vita games while we're on the cruise. That's it.
Oh, he's a simple man.
Yeah,
he's a simple man.
Beat and platinumed Severed yesterday.
You told me. Proud of you.
Platinum number 48.
What's gonna be the big 5-0?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Rebirth again. Get it on another platform. Do it on PC and pop the trophy over there.
Yeah.
But I June 26th, I do think is one of the more shocking aspects of this entire trailer.
Shocking?
Yeah. Well, I've always said, and you made fun of me. I'm like, it's on the beach. It's got to be summer. And you're
like, I thought it'd be sooner.
Really?
Well, when we were talking about the state of play and what was going to get revealed, I thought that Death Stranding would get revealed, and then we're looking at something
April
like
or
May.
Yeah.
Which now you push it a month, and then you take the May date and you move it to June. You're like, there you go. Okay. Like,
it does make sense. For me, it was more, are we only going to have a 4-month rollout for this game when, like, from the release date announcement to launch? And the answer is apparently.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe we're getting this game. Straight up. Like, Death Stranding 1 did not sell that well.
Yeah.
That, like, I would just I'm counting my lucky stars that
no, I'm still like, all of this, if you asked me in 2022 why I'm excited about Kojima hitting the stage at the Game Awards, I'd be like, because it's pretty cool. If you ask me now why I'm excited about Kojima, I'm like, because he's the GOAT. He's the fucking greatest to ever do it. Right now, that's the other thing. I felt like this, by the way, South by Southwest panel, the way that they did this, top 10 worst ways to ever do this.
Stupid.
Just so dumb.
On the planet. I love it. It's so good.
I watched the entire hour. Nope. That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
What they should have done was, like, can you imagine this at a PSX with like a place full of PlayStation fans, and like what that would do compared to being at South by Southwest, which is mainly music and movies. I think like Troy Baker walking out and like not having like a huge rousing warm reception, it's just like, okay, like that alone proves that this is the wrong place to do it, because Troy Baker at the Game Awards walks out 6 months earlier and gets a huge pop with him and Tom and Howard. So it's just like, how do we want to do this? Like, I struggle with the fact that like this was the best way to do it, but it's also Kojima and he gets to decide however he wants to do it. And once again, all that mattered was we got the trailer and the date, and that's a good poll. But I just need in the future Kojima to understand, like, let's just stick with Game Awards and Keighley, and like those are great events.
I've never seen a video game auteur seemingly dislike that he has to make video games and wants to go make movies more than Kojima. Like, I mean, he wants to make movies so badly.
Well, that's why he just made a 10-minute movie for us.
I know, it's just so funny. It's like, I get it. I get that you like movies and want to make movies, but you make video games and you make them really, really well.
Yeah, top of the line.
It's okay to not. There's no shame in that. You know what I mean? It feels like sometimes he like doesn't like it. You know what I mean? And wants to be with the cool kids club over in
Austin,
at South by Southwest. He's like, that's where all the movie people are. So that's where I want to reveal my thing. It's like, no, reveal it at the state of play, please. Save the conversation around PlayStation, because the conversation around PlayStation, it was bad after the state of play.
Yeah. Story number 4, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet gets its first bit of new info from Neil Druckmann. This is Tom Francis at GameSpot. Quote, Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann revealed some more narrative details about Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet in creator-to-creator discussion with Civil War director Alex Garland. Druckmann highlights that Intergalactic will be, quote, a game about faith and religion, end quote, and is set about 2,000 years in the future in a universe that diverged from our own in the 1980s. He reveals that Naughty Dog has created 2,000 years of history for the religion of Semperia, which has been cut off from communication with the rest of the galaxy for the last 600 years prior to the start of the game. He also explained how Naughty Dog wants players to feel lonely and lost in a place whose people and history are mysterious to them. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet is in development for PS5 but does not have a release window at this time. Druckmann admits that Naughty Dog, quote, still has a way to go, quote, in developing the game, and he doesn't have a clear idea of the final form of Intergalactic. The final form Intergalactic will take just yet. So don't expect it to be released soon, end quote. Connor, where do you want to start with this one? Like, do we want to go down the narrative route of like what this story seemingly is going to be about, or do we want to talk about the fact that the final form isn't there yet? Where do you want to
go? Let's go with the narrative first.
Oh, faith, religion, big themes. That is big swings, but Naughty Dog's never shied away from big swings when it comes to their themes and their narrative and what they're trying to do. For me, this works for me. My favorite narrative beat and story and side moment from last year was the religious story in Metaphor. That really hit for me in a way that I was like, oh, there's something interesting to say here. You said it very well. That's really cool. I think that they can do really cool things with that idea, but also it is, once again, it's a big theming swing when you're talking about something as big and broad as religion.
Yeah, I think it's a cool backdrop, cool setup for this narrative that they're planning on telling. I think that the whole crash landing on a planet that nobody's been able to get off of in the last 600 years, cool narrative choice there, and being lonely. I do appreciate Neil talking about, we've had companion characters with you in all of these games over the last decade or so or longer, and it would be all the way to Jack and
Daxter. You got a companion. So, I mean, Crash also has his rogues gallery and everything. Yeah. So it's cool. The idea of just being alone in this otherworldly world is cool. I wonder how the retro future aesthetic is going to apply to a planet that's been dormant for 600 years. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Because I imagine the main character is going to have a bunch of this stuff, but that planet probably isn't. So the vibe of Cowboy Bebop that you get from the original trailer, I wonder if that's going to apply to the rest of the game or not. I'm curious about that. But yeah, I think this information is interesting about the narrative. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is selling me anymore on what we already saw. I kind of got a lot of that from the trailer. They talk about how like nobody's been seen from that planet, nobody leaves that planet or whatever. Yeah. Like it's like, okay, like I get the gist of it. That's cool. The religious aspects, like you said, that's a big swing. And as long as they handle it in a way that's interesting, I'm all on board for it. So yeah, narrative sounds cool.
Yeah, for me, the biggest thing that this is a win for is I remember years ago Neil talking about him learning from the Souls-like genre, and I was like, I don't want a Souls game when it comes to like a Naughty Dog narrative-driven type game. But the idea of being alone in Souls games are done so fucking well. I think that that's one of the most underrated aspects of Souls games is like the feeling of Elden Ring of I'm just a person and this world is so big, and I'm not saying that this is gonna be an open world type game, but like having those moments where I'm so small and there is so much more at foot here in this world is really fucking cool. And I think that if they're able to pull that off in a similar way to an Elden Ring, to a Bloodborne, I think that that would be really impressive, and that is the right thing to go and take from a Souls game and put it into your own. If you're able to capture that emotion really well, and it looks like that's what they're trying to do, that totally works for me, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Well, now Intergalactic not being like him being like, I don't know where this is gonna go.
Weird.
Still have a ways to go is the quote, and he doesn't have a clear idea of the final form Intergalactic will take just yet.
But also says, I've been working on this for 4 years, to like really kind of hammer home the fact that they've been working on it for a while, and then goes on in the same interview to be like, it's not close necessarily, and we don't even know what this final product looks like. It's like, you don't have like a roadmap of like what you think this game's gonna be.
Do you think that this is just dev speak though? Just like, hey, it's not done yet. Like the final product isn't there, so we don't want to be like, we don't know the final form it's gonna take yet. Or do you think that this is actually spelling a little bit of a disaster situation where they are 4 years deep and we got another 4 to go?
I think that it's somewhere in the middle, probably. I think I could see this coming out in 2027. Late 2027 or like right before the assuming that the PS6 is in 2027, so late 2027 with the PS6 or right before it is possible, but I think we both agree at this point that the PS6 is 2028, so late 2027 would be not ideal. Having another 2 years of development, 2+ years of development, not what I'm looking for. I'm hoping for 2026, but I think that's what he's saying here probably.
I think that we get it 2026 still. I do think that that's where we're at with Intergalactic, but it's more the idea of like, I'm just nervous with Naughty Dog's entire production schedule at this point, ever since The Last of Us Factions and like what they're doing over there. But Intergalactic seems just like such a banger. Like for me, I'm completely sold. Trent Reznor's on the track, Connor. Trent Reznor's on the fucking track, dude. Like, this is going to be... It has all the makings to potentially be an all-timer.
It's like the best thing that's ever happened.
It's really funny. We talk about it all the time. The S-tier studios, the elite of the elite. I think that if you had to guarantee something like GTA or Intergalactic or the next Elden Ring or whatever... I mean, Night Rain is the next Elden Ring, I guess. The next major FromSoft game, I would say, are all going to be bangers. This is probably going to be a fucking banger. It's more the question of like, how long is this going to take? Also, I do think that Neil right now, he's doing what he should do, which is like drip feed a little bit of information. He's a busy boy because we have The Last of Us Season 2 dropping, and he's on a full press tour, I assume, for the next month. Like, we're talking about a month where I assume that he's not at Naughty Dog's office working away at that every single day.
And he's going to be asked about it all the time, too. Yeah. Intergalactic.
Well, I mean... That's just press tours. You get asked the same question over and over again. Yeah. That's just how that goes. But I do think that there's something to be said of like, let's go here. Do we see this game this year?
No shot. Yeah.
PlayStation Showcase. Do you think that they wouldn't say anything?
No, I don't think so.
If we are here,
that's about announcements and re-upping and re-showing certain games that have already been announced. I don't think you.
But that's what.
That are closer.
Okay.
Like Saros. We know
it's a year plus out. It's next year. Well, my question
Wolverine, which I think is closer than that, we see again. But like,
I think if you have the goods elsewhere, you can do that. You cannot show that there. But if you don't have Wolverine ready to go, or you don't like, for me, major Insomniac game, major Sony Santa Monica game, maybe even Horizon 3 I'll throw in there. If you don't have like one of those ready to go and you just have Ghost and maybe something awesome third party like an RE9, you might need to go and I wouldn't be shocked if Sony calls up that team and is like, hey, we got to show something. Like, can we get like a minute of gameplay? Can we get another cinematic? Like that's sort of what I would think we would get. I don't think we would get a full-on gameplay. Here's 6 minutes, go. I think that it would be just, hey, another set piece of, hey, we're on the world, we're walking around a little bit. Maybe it's an interaction between the main character and either a large creature or another person, just some sort of set dressing of what we're actually going to be experiencing. I wouldn't be shocked if we got that.
The last time we got a Naughty Dog game with The Last of Us 2, it was announce 2016, show again 2018. And then release in 2020. I think 2 years in between.
Okay, that one. Like I think it's end 2026. I think that's the major fall game for 2026. And I think that if that is the case and that's what you're working with, it wouldn't be the end of the world for you to go and show something at a showcase. If it's state of play, it's not a chance. 0% chance. I think that if it's a showcase, we're talking like 20% chance.
Do you have a donut bet on that? On if it's a showcase or
no, we haven't seen a Grub announcement. Then normally the way it goes.
Let's do a donut bet on if it's going to be a showcase or a.
Oh wait, do we have I don't want to take a bet on that.
Why?
Because I don't think it's gonna be a showcase.
Dude, you're a Mr. Showcase.
No, I want it to be a showcase
because you want it. You know what I mean? You want it to be. I got to start making up some. I need to start making up some of these donuts.
Connor,
okay.
I want the Jets to be good every now and then, but I'm not gonna bet donuts on the Jets. Fine,
you're a Patriots fan. Why would you say that, Nick?
No, where's the dude? I have so many notes. It's been so long since we've had donut bets. All right, donut bet. It's a showcase this summer for PlayStation. You're saying
no.
I'm saying yes.
Okay, put it on the board.
Put it on the board. I do think we kind of need a showcase. I'm gonna just that's where we're at, in my opinion.
We need a showcase. They don't give a fuck. They're selling so well. It doesn't matter.
No, I do think that narratively, it is important more so than ever. If Xbox is going to have any sort of new hardware on the market, that is such a large display of, hey, we're doing new stuff, we're innovating compared to what PlayStation is doing right now, which is, hey, we're putting out sequels to sequels to sequels. I think that it might be time to go and throw out some of the big dogs.
I don't think, and I threw this out in the Discord a few days ago, I don't think Sony does anything at this point based off of what Xbox is doing.
That's a good point.
I don't think they give a fuck. What they have beaten the competition in this instance. I think that they release a handheld. They're not if Sony releases their handheld, they're not releasing it because Xbox released a handheld. Yeah. They're releasing it because Nintendo, their biggest competitor at this point, and Valve and Steam are taking eyes away from their console because of their handhelds.
Well, we can talk about that real quick. You're right, Nintendo is their biggest competition, because I don't think it's a competition of, hey, here's your major third party, first party, beautiful looking games, and they're on both Xbox and PlayStation. No, it's about just hours where you're spending your fucking time. And for most people, there's this thing in probably June that is going to take a lot of time away from PlayStation users. So going and saying, hey, yes, buy this, you go and enjoy the Switch 2, but the next couple of years you're going to be on your PlayStation more than that Switch 2 would be very powerful to go and say, hey, it is if I'm Sony at this point, I want to go and have a moment. And what they've been able to skate by with was 2024 was a good year. This year, if you're going to do Lost Soul aside and Ghost of Yote and maybe Marathons in there, Death Stranding's a big one. I think that's a solid year. But now we know Death Stranding's not showing up there. Also, Death Stranding, going back to the previous story, it's exclusive on PlayStation 5. It was also exclusive on PlayStation 5 when it first Death Stranding 1 launched.
It's not showing up on Xbox, is what you're saying?
As of right now, it is not. For Death Stranding 2. I think that's just a bunch of baloney. It's
at launch.
At launch, yeah.
I don't think it is coming to Xbox.
Yeah, that's confirmed. What I'm saying is it will eventually come to Xbox. It will eventually come to everything.
Yeah.
In the way that it did for the first one. And that, for me, all right, is this...
Why is this not the business model that Xbox is using? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. It's you can sell 5 million copies of something 6 months to a year later on PlayStation, and I don't really think it hurts your bottom line releasing it day and date or not. I think it hurts it, but to what extent is the question. But what I do know is that releasing a day and date on PlayStation is going to kill your console. So like, oh, it's so frustrating to me. I want the Xbox to be great. Like, I want them to crush it. Just don't agree with what they're doing.
I want it to be great too. Do you want to know who else is great, Connor?
Yeah.
Our dearly beloved members over on Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting the show. You guys keep the lights and mics on. People like Logan,
Hope,
Tyler D,
Scooterman,
Dinkelberg Rules,
Centuru,
Ryan V,
Gonash,
Neutral Sphere,
Charlie W,
Stooby Dooby,
Calvin M,
We Knew This Kingdom,
Crispy,
DJ Zach B,
JC,
Uli,
Jacob D,
Big Bag,
Metal Nate,
The Patty Cake,
Bear Pog,
Yogi,
Damn,
Holden M,
Shane O'Mac,
Colin C,
Brock,
Voodoo,
Dr. Pookie Bear,
Alex the Golden,
Andrew H,
Master Diz,
Jesse F,
Drifter X1 Skirt Skirt,
Presto,
Maverick,
Goops,
J Matt B3,
Ali Benally,
Michael B,
Vorpal Matt,
and Brian. Thank you guys so much for supporting this show. We will see you in the next one. Peace out.